All right, welcome everybody, and thank you for coming to class today, and welcome to those of you who are attending virtually as well. Today we're going to talk about actuarial science and the career that it is and what it means to be an actuary. Actuarial science is actually a top-rated STEM career, but some people call it the best-kept secret out there in terms of STEM-related fields. So that's what we're going to try and talk about today. It's kind of a complicated field, and actuaries do a lot of different things. So if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask. So my name is Sue Votz, and I'm the director of the Actuarial Science program here at the University of Nebraska. I worked as an actuary in the industry for 8 years, and then I ran into a professor at the grocery store one day, and he asked me to come down and teach one class for one semester, and I did that. And then I came down and taught 2 classes the next semester, and I just fell in love with teaching and academia. So I've been here for 25 years now. I did love my career when I was working as an actuary in the industry, but I really love working with students, so that's what brought me to academia. So, what is actuarial science? Actuarial science is a profession that uses math in a business setting. So it's a little unusual that way. A lot of the math and STEM fields are sort of outside of a business setting, but actuarial science is really within a business setting. And it's also a profession. So a profession is something that requires knowledge that maybe not everybody has. So if you back up a screen, you see that I have FSA after my name. That stands for Fellow of the Society of Actuaries. What that means is I have completed a series of examinations and schooling that show that I have learned the knowledge that it takes to become an actuary, and I've earned an actuarial credential. So a profession requires expert knowledge that not everybody has, and the public relies on somebody to have that knowledge for them. So it's a profession, and it uses math in a business setting. So what kinds of skills would a successful actuary need? Well, right at the top is that math knowledge. So an actuary needs a strong math base to do their work. So along with that math knowledge comes problem-solving skills and computer skills. And then, of course, the harder ones for those of us that generally are strong in math would be the communication skills, and also maybe the business skills wouldn't be quite as common. So those are the things that we can learn through practice and through our schooling as well. We need the math knowledge and the computer skills and the problem-solving skills to do the complex math work that we do. But we need the communication skills then to be able to communicate them to other people who don't have that same knowledge or background that we have. And since it's a STEM field that is in a business setting, we need to have that strong business knowledge as well. So those are the general skills of a successful actuary. But still doesn't tell you what does an actuary do, right? So what is an actuary? In simplest terms, an actuary manages risk. So that still doesn't tell you what an actuary does, but actuaries work in designing, pricing, valuing, putting together systems that help people manage risk in their lives, help individuals and help businesses. So for example, when I leave today and I drive home, I may get in a car accident. I hope I don't get in a car accident, but I could get in a car accident, right? So if I get in a car accident, I can tell you I don't have $20,000 in my pocket to just say, oh, goodbye car, I'm going to go buy another one, right? So I would be in trouble if I didn't have auto insurance, but I do have auto insurance, and auto insurance I can afford. I pay $100 a month to my auto insurance company so that if I do get into a car accident, I don't have to pay $20,000 to replace my car. I make a phone call to my auto insurance company, and they give me the $20,000 to replace my car. And so then I'm off and on my way again, a little shaken up because I had a car accident, right? But financially, I'm okay. The actuary couldn't do anything to prevent me from getting into a car accident, but when I did get into a car accident, they designed a pool called auto insurance that was able to pay for my car accident because I had contributed to that pool. And so that the financial implication of that car accident was very minimal to me. I had to file a claim, got the claim, replaced my car, and then I was back in class the next day for all of you. So that's the kind of work that actuaries work in, is helping people on maybe their worst days when some of the worst things have happened to them to manage financially. Another example, my mom had open heart surgery a few years ago. Cost about $400,000. Again, did she have $400,000 sitting in her pocket that day that she had heart surgery? No, she didn't. But throughout her life, she had paid money into a pool called health insurance so that the health insurance paid the $400,000 for her, and she was able to concentrate on getting better herself. And I was able to concentrate on helping her get better without having to worry about where is the $400,000 coming from. So that's the type of risk that actuaries help to manage. So the types of questions that they would work on answering are things such as, what is the probability that an event will occur? What's the probability that I'll have a car accident? What's the probability that my mom will need heart surgery? If such an event occurs, what is the expected cost? How much is it going to cost for my car accident, for her heart surgery? And how frequently will those things happen? And then are there ways to reduce the likelihood of the event occurring or reduce the cost when it does occur? So those are the things that actuaries have to take into account when they are designing these, what we would call risk pools. That's another name for insurance, is risk pools. And in a risk pool, people put a small amount of money into them each month, an amount that they can afford, so that when something bad happens in their life, they get sick, they get in a car accident, their house burns down, whatever, that pool can pay out the large amount that that person needs. So a lot of people put a small amount of money into a risk pool such that when a few people have a big claim, the pool has enough money in it to cover the claim for those few people. So with that in mind, what do you think is the good that an actuary provides to society? If we back up for a minute, remember I said actuarial science is a profession, and so a profession requires specialized knowledge that not everybody has, and a profession provides some kind of service or good to society. So if you think about a doctor has specialized knowledge. They know a lot more about health than we do. So when we get sick, they can help us get better. So they have that specialized knowledge, and the benefit to society is they help us all get better. A lawyer has specialized knowledge in the law, so that if we get into legal trouble or we need legal advice, we can rely on them to give us legal advice. So an actuary has that specialized knowledge, the math knowledge and the knowledge of these insurance programs. And so what is the good that they provide to society? Anybody have an idea of what that would be? I almost said it and gave it away. It's two words. First one starts with an F.
Financial security.
Yes, very good. Financial security. So the good that an actuary provides to society is financial security. They help it so that we as individuals, when bad things happen to us, can stay financially secure. Or when a company, a bigger company, any size company actually, has something bad that happens, their insurance that they have purchased can help them to continue going, even though they might not have had the money on their own to do it. So financial security is the good that an actuary provides to society. And if you think about countries that don't have established financial security programs, you will see more begging on the streets and things like that. When people have bad things happen to them, they end up homeless, they end up begging. It's not a good picture, and there's a really great article written about that. Whereas you contrast that to, say, a company that does have a country that does have an established financial security programs in place. When bad things happen, people can stay financially secure and get themselves going again in their lives without too much interruption. So the good that an actuary provides to society is that financial security. Now, is the actuary the only person that works on those teams? No, there's a lot of people on the teams that work together to provide financial security programs. But an actuary is a key player on the designing and the pricing and the valuation of those programs. So, how do actuaries manage risk? Those things I just said. They determine the price that people should pay for these different types of insurance. So how much should I pay for that auto insurance? And the tricky part is they have to decide how much I should pay before they know how many accidents I'm going to get into and before they know how expensive those accidents are going to be. Same thing, they have to decide how much people should pay for health insurance before they know how expensive how many people are going to get sick and how expensive it is going to be if they get sick. And then they collect all these premiums and they have to set it aside into reserves, money set aside to pay out future claims. So as the companies collect these premiums to put into these risk pools, they can't just go and spend it any way they want, right? Throw a big party for their employees or something. No, they have to set it aside so that when those claims come in the future, they can pay them. It would be horrible if my mom filed a claim and they said, well, we're sorry, we know that you've always paid for your health insurance, but we don't have the money, we spent it on something else. We don't have the money to pay your medical claim. That would be terrible. People would lose their faith in the financial security programs. And then actuaries also get very involved in the investing of that money as well. As they collect this money and they hold it in these reserves for long periods of time sometimes long periods of time, sometimes short periods of time, but as they hold on to that money before they pay it out, they have to manage the investment of that money because they can earn investment income on that money to help lower the premiums that people have to pay. But in order to maximize their investment income, they might want to invest it for a longer term, but they can't put all of their money in long-term investments because some people are going to need claims filed sooner. And they can't tell somebody as well when they file a claim, well, we're sorry, we can't pay that claim for you because we've got all of our money tied up in these long-term investments. So they have to find that right balance of shorter-term investments to meet current cash flow needs, longer-term investments to earn a little higher rate of return so that they can keep premiums a little bit lower. So those are things that actuaries do to manage risk. So a lot of the work of an actuary is done within insurance, but there are other companies that actuaries work for as well. There's other situations where there's risk or uncertainty involved. One might be mergers and acquisitions. So a lot of actuaries get involved in mergers and acquisitions as well. If one company wants to buy another company, then there's a lot of considerations in terms of finding out the right value of the company that is being bought and how much the company should pay for it. So actuaries can use the same types of skills that they use in managing these financial security programs to put a value on a company for acquisition or for purchase. Actuaries also get hired as consultants for large companies to put together their employee benefits packages, their pension plans, things like that. And actuaries also work in government, working on public plans, like in the United States, that would be Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, those public programs that help to keep people financially secure.